Welcome back to Silver Tears Tarot. And of course, hello and a great big welcome to anyone who's new here. This is the reading where we're going to take a look at the second half of the month from a perspective of a soulmate. So, yesterday's reading was very general, looking across your entire life. Today is looking specifically at that soulmate situation and just seeing what you can expect for the rest of the month of March. So we've had some tumultuous experiences happening, and one of them was around that full moon that we had on the 7th, and it was super intense for a lot of people. Felt a lot of people felt almost depressed or kind of like things were there was that sense of letting go, but it didn't necessarily always come across as a relief. So there was a lot going on in the energy. We're going to take a look to see what's happening in the back half of the month here. So as always, this will be a general reading. It's for people of all signs, and it won't resonate with everybody, and it really shouldn't resonate with everyone. But if it is your story, then you may want to, as I typically say, take a look at some of these stories that have been going on in the past, some of these readings rather, that have happened in the past, and see if there may be some additional messages in there for you. So we're going to start out by looking at your person and just kind of the general backdrop, energetic backdrop for the two of you as you go into the second half of the month. And so this is, like we said, a lot has changed. Your person has recently had a little bit of an epiphany. We've seen that there have been a lot of lessons learned here, but that, yeah, they still don't really know how to put those lessons into play. So that's to be expected. That's normal. But some of them are out trying to have another relationship and not being able to put this into play. So we've got some pretty good energy, though, coming out between the two of you across the back half of the month. So this is the Nine of Arrows in reverse. Nine of Arrows is air energy. It's that sense of, in the upright, the Nine of Arrows is a very high anxiety card. It's that one where you're having a hard time sleeping, having a hard time getting by. Here in the reverse, though, we see a reduction of that sort of anxiety and that feeling that comes out with that card. So we're going to go ahead and jump in and see what that means. So we've got a couple of them that wanted to come out here. And let's see, we had another sheaf of them here. I don't know how many of those are going to come out. We'll just start with this. So sometimes a few of them come out, and I have a tendency to want to take them all at one time so we can at least get those messages. It's a little bit easier because it all kind of comes out at once, but I don't want to say it all at once. So we know that there's a little bit of a reduction in that. In the I guess the frustration and the anxiety energy, I want to say. But here's part of what's driving it. This is the Queen of Swords in the reverse. So in the upright, the Queen of Swords is a card of cutting something out, cutting things out that don't immediately match with your energy. Here in the reverse, though, it's almost a sense of radical acceptance, and these butterflies in the background still they still qualify whether it's reversed or not. But this is a sense of that radical acceptance and that sort of energy that's going to allow you to truly embrace what is. And so that means becoming comfortable in a situation that is not as comfortable. This is really great information or really great energy to come out for you there. But we also have this sense of you coming out of your hermit cave. So yesterday we saw that in your general energy, one of the reasons that things might not be moving very quickly is because you were spending some time in that thinking cave. And we saw that toward the end of the month, we would see you transition to a very different type of energy, more open, more able to use what has been learned. This is you coming out of that thinking cave with regard to your person and some of the things that are happening there. So, not saying you have all the answers. And in fact, it's clear here that you don't have all the answers, but you do have this good connection to your higher self. And this is also something that we saw. You're going to have some secrets that are starting to come out and to reveal themselves. And this has a lot to do with your connection with your higher self because it allows you to have a greater self-trust. This is a huge step forward. This is something that you're doing toward the end of March, in the back half of March. Brings you to a place of, like I said, less anxiety. and feeling like you don't have to cut things out right away. You're able to say, nope, I'm okay with experiencing this, at least understanding what it is. And really, with that connection with your higher self, you're more able to do that. You're also able to process some of these messages that are coming in for you because you've got some difficult messages. Some of the ones that are coming in, like I said, there's going to be some new light that gets shined on some things. Some mystery gets, kind of unfolds here with the moon card, and that's a good thing. So we have a lot of mystery implicit in the high priestess over here too, that talks about the connection with your higher self, but it also talks about a sense of mystery and some things that are not necessarily completely showing themselves, but you're going to be okay with that. The moon card talks about almost like an ace of swords with new truths coming out, but it's really not so much truths coming out as the light just shining, and so things being a little bit more exposed. But as I was saying, you may not be super happy with what's coming through. So we saw a little bit of that with the reading that we did yesterday, where it was we were looking into what you could do, and what came out was you're going to want to take a step back and look at the big picture, but be prepared. It's going to bring up some things you're not very pleased with. We also saw that that was necessary and it was part of your process. It's part of what you need. So we've got the judgment card here in reverse, which does confirm that, but it also, I don't feel bad about this. And I think it has to do with the fact that you won't feel bad about this. The fact that this Nine of Arrows is in reverse and that it doesn't send you into a tailspin. It simply shows you what is there and you're able to take better stock of it. That is a very positive energy. Let's see if anything else wants to come out. I feel like we need at least one more card there. Okay, so we've got the Queen of Pentacles. There's a card we've been seeing, and this is about you having the self-worth to truly be prepared for what's coming your way, regardless of what that is. So what that means is you come to a place where you don't need to know what's coming your way because you're going to be fine with it. From moment to moment, you're going to be okay with what's coming your direction. But you're also, this Queen of Pentacles says you're going to be prepared, not just prepared to walk through it and to manage through it, but also to lead others through it potentially if that is part of what needs to happen. Now there is this sense of a missed opportunity here. I feel like this is a missed opportunity that kind of comes out as you are investigating what these truths that the light gets shown upon them. You recognize somewhere in there that there is something that you wish you may have handled differently. I would say don't get too upset about it, but I almost feel like I don't have to tell you that because your energy is very accepting. It is that sense of radical acceptance. And you know what? Whatever comes, you're going to be able to handle it. So you've got the Queen of Cups over here, and it's one of my favorite ones. The only thing is, I really prefer it in the upright. It's got the Queen of Cups is very much led by love. It's very much a deep desire to simply be. It's beautiful and just very much encourages the transformation that you're going through. So what we have here is not so much, it's like a lighter shade of all that. And there's something in the way of the transformation that wants to come through. It has something to do with the way you're processing love. So it's that sense again of opening your heart to give and receive love equally. There's still something here. And believe me, it takes several tries at this to be able to carve your way all the way to and I'm hoping that we get all the way to, I still have my own progress to make, right? But there's this sense of moving toward everything happening from a place of love and everything really being driven from that. Here is a little bit of, and this is the last one we want. Here is a little bit of what is creating this. It's almost like a holdup in your healing. And it's that Five of Pentacles. It's that sense of needing to let yourself in from out in the cold. But by this point, you recognize that you are the only one who will be able to let yourself in from out in the cold. It may simply be a matter of, I've got this key, but I have not figured out how to use it, and the other thing that I will say is be prepared. It takes a little while sometimes. Based on what I'm seeing here, you're going to be okay with working through that and being able to work through that and remaining constructive rather than becoming real upset about it. Okay, so that is kind of the general energy. There is that sense of being able, that radical acceptance really does want to take center stage. And I want to pull that out because it's very, very important for us. So is this piece where you have the connection with your higher self, but there's still a lot of mystery here. So it just becomes okay. This is you going more and more into a place where good things may be happening. This difficult things might be happening, but you're okay with it and you're over here ready to work on these issues that you still have, that you're still working on. You're still finding new things and it's going to be okay with this energy the way you're working through it. It's just not necessarily going to be quick, but you're okay with that too. This is such a copacetic energy and going with the flow. I could not wish for anything more for you guys as soulmate energy, or just general energy. I mean, this is really fantastic. So, as an energetic backdrop, this is a nice place to start. Let's get the sense for kind of the emotions that are flowing between you and your person, heavy on what's happening with them. Because I think we know kind of what's happening with yours, but if I'm not mistaken, I'm getting a sense here that sometimes the sun starts to come out, and your emotions are starting to rise a little bit, but just maybe it's on some days, but then you'll have 4 really difficult days. I don't get the sense that it's consistent, but just that it's starting to happen. And we know that we're heading toward a place where a lot of positivity can happen. It looks like you're coming to a place where you're going to be able to register that, because it can happen all at once, but if you're not in a place to really receive it, then it doesn't matter as much to you. So let's get a sense for the emotions here. Like I said, heavy on your person's place, or heavy on your person, but there's a lot of mirroring going on here. So we've got this Queen of Arrows. This is that sense of, again, with the radical acceptance. So this is that same energy as the Queen of Swords here. It is air energy, and it is the sense of not simply cutting things out defensively and quickly. That's what happens sometimes with the Queen of Arrows. Now, the thing is, she's incredibly logical. So when I say she cuts things out, it's not always a bad thing. A lot of times it's actually a very positive thing. It's good for you. It ends up being good for everyone. But it's not always the right thing. Sometimes it's a little too rash. Sometimes that's what your person has done as well. And so this is that sense of radical acceptance, but it's heavier within your person. And so this is a really good place for them to be, because it has them, instead of running away, it has them considering some things, or at least in a place where they're able to think about some things. So we're going to go ahead and take a look there and get some more clarity on this one. I like the idea of radical acceptance coming from your person. And the thing is, it seems a little early. Ooh, wow. Seems a little early, but not inconsistent. But it also seems like exactly where they're headed. Especially with the wrinkle in the energy that we felt the other day and the way that things are moving. Your person is seeking balance. We've got the Justice card. That is not new. We've seen them seeking balance a great deal, but here we see a significant stride toward that balance that has a lot to do with this energy and this emotion that they're in, of radical acceptance. So this is a situation where, I almost get the sense you don't want to mess with them right now, because they're gathering that balance to themselves and they need to learn how to stand in it. Okay, this one has to wait. We're going here first. So we've got the Five of Wands, and with these dragon cards, it's awesome because I don't know, I can't immediately gauge which cards they are when I put them off to the side and don't think about them. So I don't have that clouding my judgment. And that's kind of neat, just from a personal standpoint. So we have, as we said, the Queen of Arrows, which is your person, and engaging in this radical acceptance, trying with the Justice card here to really put things into balance, but it is not easy. There is a difficult energy here, that is just, it's very challenging for them. A lot of challenging energy, a lot of back and forth, a lot of them sort of going back and forth and doubting themselves, not sure if they're going to be able to be successful. And in this energy, with all of that doubting, they won't be. And it's because of the six, and we just got the 5, 6, and the 7 of Wands. And you guys know I use this deck. There's no way it shouldn't have been more shuffled. What are the odds that they would come out in this order? So the 5 of Wands here in the upright, talks about the challenge that's happening in your person's emotions. So they've turned this corner and they, like you, are going to be opening up and kind of seeing a little bit more, taking that step back. But it's a challenging thing for them to see. They are not going to be successful if they cannot fix this or make the best of this challenge. So the thing about the 5 of Wands is that you can take it and use it in your favor or in your own to everyone's benefit. You can basically shine all the lights the same direction, and then you have like this really bright spotlight. Unfortunately, though, it's a difficult thing to do because you're taking a lot of tumultuous activity, tough emotions, and trying to shine everything the same way. They will not be successful with their overall quest to find this balance unless they're successful in this. But the good news is if they're not, they'll still be given another chance, because despite the fact that they don't feel especially protected here with this 7 of Wands, and they don't feel especially ready to jump in, they are actually more prepared than they realize, from an emotional standpoint. However, they are suffering from the exact opposite of what we see in this emotional backdrop. So we see in this emotional backdrop the sense of, okay, I'm going to be able to accept a little bit more, absorb a little bit more. Your person hasn't figured out the absorb a little bit more piece. They have a desire to accept more, but it's more on an intellectual level. They haven't really figured out how to internalize this. And so they find themselves a little bit tortured because they're trying to figure out, well, how do I get the difficult things out of my mind, to make way for the balance and the things that I want to go well. It's a difficult place for them to be, and this is something they are unlikely to share with you. So now we come to the 7 of Pentacles, and this one is about investment. It's also about timing. So, about having invested in yourself to the place where you're ready to move forward. This person now recognizes the right direction to go, but they aren't really prepared to go forward with it because they haven't made the investment, not in you, not in their lessons, not in themselves. And so this is something that they need to continue going with. And in the meantime, that same could be mirrored of said of you. You have also, well, you have engaged on a very deep and dramatic level. However, even though it is very clear in some of your cases where you want to go, okay, I know that and I've heard people say, I'm feeling more comfortable in the uncomfortable, which I see over here. And now I recognize that I am going to leave that door open. I'm going to leave it open so that this person can come back, but I'm not going to focus on that door. Knowing that is one thing, and getting it on an intellectual level, but doing it is a very different thing. You've got to really engage that learning, and that there's a lot that has to happen here in order for the to really fall into place even after you make the realization. Okay. And so there is some fear also around doing this. And it's just like that 9 of Wands that we sometimes see come out in reverse. It's about guarding walls that no longer need to be guarded, or in this case, being scared of things that it's no longer necessary for to be scared of. Okay. And so this is very strong in your person. This is that skittish energy, and it's like they're running away, like I've talked about in previous readings. They're running up the stairs like something is chasing them, but they haven't actually turned around, and they can't make themselves turn around to see if anything is actually there. Let's see what else wants to come up here. We got something else that turned over. Okay, the 6 of Pentacles. All right, they're still not ready with that equal give and take, which I see over here that you're still working on truly being able to give and take as well. You don't seem to have a problem with the giving, more just it's tougher for you to receive as much. Your person is working on both sides of that. So it's a challenge for them either way. And as a result, it's creating a sense of, it's creating a sense of, and I don't want to create confusion with this, it's creating a sense of a lack of stability for them, an emotional lack of stability. So they've got this issue where they are magnetized toward you, but they don't feel like they're deserving of you because of what has happened in the past. They're kind of stuck in this place where they need to create their own stability, but they're unable to do so because, not unlike you, and this is a shared mutual energy, there's this sense of having the key but not quite knowing how to use it. So it is super imperative to understand that you hold the key. So that is a huge, huge step. Now, being able to use it, obviously, another huge step, but one that several folks haven't made yet. So That's okay. The idea is to keep working on it. So that's kind of what's happening in that emotional sense. And we're going to dig a little bit more deeply into this one when we get into the extended. What I want to look at now is what you can be doing. And this is one of my favorite questions. It's kind of that practical, okay, how do I move forward? What's the true advice? We may grab some advice across the top from an oracle deck afterwards, as you know. But for now, we're going to start with let's dig into what you can truly be doing to make the best of this energy, because you've got some really fantastic energy over here to start with as you're going towards the second half of March. So we're just going to take the top two of the ones that fell here. And so we have the Woodward, which is kind of like the Hermit card again. And then we also have the Six of Stones, and that's like the Six of Pentacles that we have over here. So this is a sense of the Six of Pentacles is about that equal give and take, and this card is all about making sure that you are getting your equal give and take in all situations, whether it is this situation with your person, could be people in your family, people at work, people socially. You want to make sure that that you are absolutely setting yourself up for success, and that you are no longer accepting less than what you're worth. Because here over here, you're going to stop pushing so hard and start just attracting. And so that's part of kind of what's baking over here. We've got the Woodward here in reverse because things aren't quite baking. Sometimes that's a matter of, hey, I came out and I've got some answers. And in this case, it's I haven't come out yet. I'm not done. I don't have all my answers. And yet, what you can be doing is keep working on your lessons. That's what the Woodward wants to tell you. And then the Six of Stones wants to tell you, oh, but by the way, you have already figured out some things about this Six of Pentacles energy, and you know that you want it to be relatively even. So be sure that in all of your dealings, you're making that you're setting the path for that, because it is not so much that you demand your righteous, I mean, amount. It's not so much that you demand your share so much as you make it clear that you should be given your share. It's not a sense of having to grab it and take it. It's a matter of making it clear that it is yours, so it just comes to you. And it's like I was saying over here, you're not going after stuff, you're attracting. And so that's the energy that this starts to come up here. And so what we have you can practice it even while it's growing within you. All right. So we've got the Four of Swords. This goes right here with the Woodward and wants to tell you there's still plenty of healing that needs to take place. When we see this Four of Swords, it's a card of rest and rejuvenation. And when it's in the reverse like this, it means that there is still some needed. That's what's coming off of this card. But there's still a sense of needing to go on that walkabout and that quest to truly go for what it is that you want in your life and what is going to generate that wish fulfillment for you as you're going along your life path. So we've got the Ace of Wands. This is that passion. We are going to have to do a reading on, and I got a request for this. We're going to do this in the next few days. This is that thing that is going to set your soul on fire. We've talked about it, we've heard about it, and so many of you have come back and said, I don't know what it is, or you know what? I know I need to find it, but I don't know how. So we're going to dig into that energy and understand a little bit more. No doubt this is part of the energy that's going to lead you there, but this is you finding it. And this is you really kind of, it's got this sense of just getting out of the way of it and being willing to jump in. So, okay, couple things going on here. We've got the Fool card, we've got the Ace of Cups, and then we've got the Ace of Wands. And these are all very much coming out together. So this Ace of Wands that originally came out is talking about that passion that you're going to find that's going to help to lead you forward, ignite your soul, and help to redirect your energy. Because instead of being directed so much toward the emotions of what has happened around what has happened with your person, your what's happened there is supposed to be directing you towards some lessons. It's just really, really hard not to focus more on what happened with this person because of the nature of the lessons that you're learning. It's all about figuring out how to use this key to let yourself in from out in the cold to get to this place of radical acceptance. But the thing is, it's like you're getting there. You're seeing these glimpses of it, even though it's not your everyday life all the time. So when you see those glimpses, recognize yourself for that, because that's a fabulous thing. So that's also the sort of thing that's going to help you to see and accept this passion that wants to come toward you, and the thing that's going to help change your perspective. It doesn't actually take anything away. It doesn't make your sadness go away. It just makes it so that you process it in such a different way. You're able to address it with love. And so this Ace of Cups is about coming through this with an ability to still love, to give love, and to do so in a nice, equal way, and to be able to jump into something new. Because believe it or not, there, with this experience here, and you gave to a person more than they returned to you, okay? There is still this sense here somewhere deep down you're feeling pretty hurt by that, and it's going to show up in future ways. So that's one of the things that wants to come out here, to look for that and don't let it get in your way. You've got a page of swords here that says if you're willing to jump off, this is like a minor arcana fool, you guys. If you're able to jump off into this new direction that wants to come out for you here, then you're going to be able to see a transformation and to really bring about a transformation that is amazing for you. Suddenly, something that has seemed like a place where you had no choice becomes completely reframed, and you realize that no choice was not actually what you were looking at. This is the Lover's card. This is a card about having a choice in love. And the thing is, once you figure out what you want and you're truly able to figure out how to move forward toward it, you are given an opportunity. That opportunity is not necessarily an easy one, but at least you figure out you have a chance. So there is a tower coming your direction, which is, that's tumultuous emotion. That's big stuff. That's something that is coming your way. That the way that I'm seeing it, though, I cannot tell you it's a tower that destroys your life. All I can say is you're ready for it. So it's something that you're ready for, and it doesn't give me, like, my heart rate doesn't even increase when I see that tower. And honestly, a lot of times it does. It's like, oh gosh, what now? But what I see here is something that you've been moving toward. I think it moves you closer toward that radical acceptance, and in some cases gets you all the way there. So it's like, they talk about there being kind of good towers and bad towers, and of course they're all neutral towers, and you get to decide how you're going to process it, but not that simple in the moment. So when I see it come out and I don't feel any sense of anxiety, and it matches this, I'm like, oh, this is what brings you there. So you're going to actively do the work that brings you to this place. You have been doing the work that actively brings you to this place that you see yourself in the back half of this month. And so here, with the Oceans card, this is, it's, it's when I pull the oracle cards, it's kind of to bring the picture, it's to bring the picture all the way full circle. It came out, and a lot of times I'll just turn it around and put them in the upright and talk about what they mean. This one wants to stay in the reverse, though, and it's a little bit of a warning. It's a little bit of a, you need to make sure that you're opening yourself up all the way, because the amount you're able to open yourself up to the lessons that are coming to you when this tower comes. Oh, and by the way, not that it'll come at a bad time, but it may be a bit of an emotionally busy time. So you might be like, oh gosh, I would have been able to handle this 2 weeks ago. Now it's a little bit tougher. Jump in. You'll be able to handle it just fine. Allow that to happen, because the more you do, the more it's going to open you up for this sense of radical acceptance. And honestly, this is what stands between you and being able to manifest everything you want to manifest. So this is a beautiful energy that you're moving into. So we're going to go ahead and go into the extended. We're going to look at the emotions once again, just to kind of see what's happening between you and your person. And we're also going to look into, maybe more of what needs to happen to make this awesome energy a reality. we're going to look a little bit deeper. We'll ask a couple of questions about your person while we're in there just to kind of see where they're at, since we know there's been a lot of activity lately. So thank you so much for being here with me for this one. I'll either see you in the extended, which the link is down below, or I will see you in future reading.